Your brain is the most powerful weapon you own. It can help you build an amazing life or completely destroy it. So, here's the big question. When life punches you in the face, do you fall apart like most people, or do you get back up a completely different person? For years, I fell apart. My inner voice bullied me every single day, and no matter how motivated I felt to improve my life, nothing ever changed. Because here's what I didn't understand back then. Mental toughness is forged through identity, not discipline and willpower. You can force new habits, wake up at 5 a.m., and try to cut out all of the bad things from your life. But if your identity hasn't changed, then you'll always fall back into your old ways. You need to reinvent yourself. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how I reinvented myself to go from that weak kid to somebody who just takes action. Because once you can change who you believe you are at the identity level, then developing mental toughness is not tough at all. When it comes to developing mental toughness, most people, as I mentioned, rely entirely on conscious methods to do so. They instill these new habits. They try to get pumped up and motivated. They push through and use their willpower when things get tough. Now, don't get me wrong, these things can be useful, especially in the short term when you need to build momentum early on. I'm all for pushing yourself. That's a great thing. But as I mentioned, many people can't stick with these new habits in this evolved lifestyle because their identity has been forged to fit a certain mold. And this mainly happens because of your programming. When you were a child, especially from birth until about 8 years old, you were the most programmable. Your mind was malleable. And at that time, your brainwaves were in a state called theta. In the state of theta, you pick up on things very quickly and you're adaptable. This is why little kids can learn new languages and pick up new skills very quickly, because they're always in this hypnotic-like state with their brainwaves. I tell you all that because those years were formative for your development. And at that time, your identity was molded. And right now, as a conscious adult, your subconscious mind holds all of the truths of your identity. And as we've talked about in multiple videos before, your subconscious mind controls about 95% of your day-to-day actions. Many of this happens because of your subconscious programming. This is where your identity was formulated. I say all this because if you're trying to become somebody who's mentally tough, then you need to change the identity that you have. Your brain wants to protect you, and it thinks that anything that goes against your identity is a threat to your survival. This is why if you try to be consistent with new habits and stay motivated and use your discipline to build a new life for yourself, you self-sabotage and you fall off and you lose momentum. That's exactly why the title of this video is how to reinvent yourself for mental toughness, not how to build mental toughness. Because to develop a sense of mental toughness, to be able to put the hard work in, do all the things you need to do and see meaningful progress in your life, you need to reinvent yourself. To change your behavior for good, you need to start believing new things about yourself. You need to build identity-based habits. Identity change creates behavior change. Behavior change leads to results, and the results you get reinforce the identity you've built for yourself. This is the positive feedback loop that you can only experience after you've made an identity change. So to gain clarity on your current identity and to evolve it in a way that benefits you, you're going to ask yourself the following questions. What are my deepest values? What beliefs do I hold true? Who do I wish to become? Few people ever take the time to answer these questions, and that's why more people than ever before are anxious, uncertain, and lost when it comes to the direction they want to live within their life. It's because they haven't clarified their true identity. They haven't been able to get clear on what it is they want, and they cannot live a life of mental toughness. They feel motivated and inclined to change one day, so they pick up new habits and they try to be consistent and use their willpower, like I mentioned before. But then a few days pass or a few weeks pass and then they fall off and they revert back into their old ways. Then this reinforces the belief that there's somebody who can't change. This reinforces the belief that there's somebody who does not have mental toughness. So enough theory, let's get practical here. Here's the multi-step process that I followed and that many other people have also followed to rebuild your identity for mental toughness. Number one is awareness. Gaining awareness on what your problems are, what you want, and who you need to become is necessary before making those informed changes. Some people find meditation to be great for this. Other people find journaling to be amazing for this. I love them both, but something I do even more often is be mindful. Mindfulness is the idea of being fully immersed in the present moment you find yourself in. It's when you're not taken by distractions and you are just engaging with whatever the task is at hand. This is so powerful, and it's because being truly mindful allows you to notice thoughts without getting pulled into them, observe emotions instead of being controlled by them, interpret automatic patterns before you react negatively. This creates a pause, and in these moments, you can more easily understand yourself. Researchers Bremer and Wu from a 2022 study actually found some awesome things about mindfulness. They found that your brain takes notice during these moments, and they also found that when your brain takes notice during these moments, it increases neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to change. And this allows for making identity-based changes much easier. Step number 2 is to reframe your internal narrative. People often talk about affirmations and morning mantras and faking it until you make it. These things can be useful. I'm not knocking them, but that wasn't the approach that I took. Here's what I did. Firstly, I collected evidence. If you're becoming someone with mental toughness, reflect on all the times you displayed exactly that. When you focus more on the times you lived in accordance with the thing you're trying to become, then this shifts your brain to positivity. There's a system within your brain called the reticular activation system. This is essentially the filter within your brain that determines your reality. When you were thinking about all the times you were mentally tough, then this reinforces your identity even further, and you seek out opportunities to be mentally tough. After collecting evidence of times you were successfully mentally tough, the next thing you want to do is rewrite your failures. All your shortcomings from the past have taught you a valuable lesson. Make it a regular practice to find the takeaways from every situation just like this. After you've done this, then come up with some I am statements. This reframe puts you in the identity of someone with mental toughness, not someone who's working toward it. If you're just somebody who's trying to make it work, then you're more likely to fail and repeat those old patterns moving forward. Your brain doesn't know the difference. If you assume that identity, then you will become that person. So after you have reframed your internal narrative, the next thing you want to do is visualize and act in alignment. Every morning you want to sit down for a few minutes and visualize exactly what it is you want to do throughout the day. Picture yourself working through the challenges. Picture how you'll feel when you accomplish them. Picture how amazing it will be to get more things done. Along with this, what you want to do is associate into the positive emotions. You're not just seeing what it is you'll do throughout the day that is challenging and fulfilling to you, but you're feeling how great it feels to do those things. And look, I was very skeptical of visualization, but it turns out there's new science about how your brain actually changes through practices like meditation and visualization more specifically. Researchers from UC San Diego found that not only does your brain change, but your blood chemistry also changes when you visualize and meditate every single day. In the study, they had people get into that awesome state for 7 days where they were visualizing what they wanted, they were feeling into the visualization, and they were just in a great state. You could call this visualization or meditation. After 7 days, the researchers took blood from the participants. They applied this blood to brain cells that they'd collected previously. What they found was that these brain cells grew quicker and made stronger connections to other brain cells. So what this means is that your thoughts paired with associated emotions quite literally changes your biology. If you can get into that amazing state where you are visualizing yourself with mental toughness and you're visualizing yourself doing all those difficult things that are fulfilling to you and associating into the positive emotion, then your brain cells are strengthening with each other, they're making more connections, and they're growing. But of course, visualization is not enough. You need to take aligned action, as I mentioned before. If your body isn't taking action and doing the things you need to do, then nothing changes. So, use all this to your advantage. Become aware through mindfulness. Change your inner narrative and pair visualization with aligned action. And if you're somebody who wants to develop this identity that is mentally tough and develop this identity that does pursue the things you want to pursue, then you might as well consider following it. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, be sure to like and subscribe for more. And if you know somebody who is intelligent and has big goals but doesn't feel like they're worthy of achieving them, then share this video with them. Anyways, I will see you in the next video. Peace.